Hi awesome friends. I thought I'd just do a little refresher video today on making these 10 by 10 hearts. They really make lovely gifts for friends. And yeah, let's get started. Remember, all my tutorials are unedited, so this is real time. And I thought I'd just show you how I prep my templates. So this is MDF board, and I have them cut locally in South Africa. And wanted to just show you a trick. These are die cuts that I'm using, my favorite. And when I'm gluing my intricate die cuts, I actually glue the template, not the die cut, which makes it so much easier to stick things down. And then using a lappy, for my foreign friends, a lappy is a scrap of cloth. I then push it down carefully and cut the remnants off the back. So much easier than trying to fit things perfectly. Okay, so there I have decorated my template with a die cut doily, and now I want to put a word on. So for people for people not confident to know where to put their word, I often will write the word down. So I want to use the word friend. I don't like that, so I'm going to erase it. Oh, and this erase is terrible. So use that one. Remember, it doesn't matter what you're doing on the background here because no one's going to see it. But maybe I should do the word friend in a different way. How about like that? F-R-I-E-N-D. So kind of plan where you want to put your word if you can't freehand. My apologies. I sit in a thatch house under a thatch roof and I have such allergies. So excuse me while I have a sip of water. Okay, so using ordinary alphabet stickers, which you can get at your stationery store, I am then going to plan my word friend here, and I'm just winging it. Now the easiest way to use your stickers, I'll just show you a tip, is to bend your backing and then lift it with a little craft knife. Craft knife is my favorite friend. So bend the backing, lift it from the top. There you go. And bend the backing and lift it. And last one, D, friend. Now the nice thing about using these stickers is that if you're not happy with the way you've lined it up, you can actually go back and gently lift it and replace it. And I'm moving them slightly down because I think I am a little bit OCD. And you might not be able to see it on the video, but I can see that I put this on skew. Okay, so now we have our little word. Okay. Pardon me again. Once again, we are using our 30 micron metal tape, which is very thin. I've crumpled it. I've cut it more or less the shape that I want. And now we are going to take off the backing. And I find it easier to use my craft knife once again to release it. Taking our template that we've decorated, we're putting it face down onto our metal tape. And then we're going to trim. So here I like to trim a little bit of the excess off. And again here, a little bit of the excess off. And then we are going to cut. I'm using about 1.5 centimeter or 1/2 inch gap between the areas that I'm cutting. And this is much like folding a book. We just want everything to go towards the back and neatly. Okay, so now we've got our tip. I like my tip to be neat. So I'm going to show you here. I cut my corner like this with about a 2 millimeter little spot there, if you can see. Right, now we're going to close it, and I close that one first. And I'll show you why now. Because then I've got a little piece that I can make sure that the end, I'm not sure if you can see so well there, that the end is properly closed. So I don't have a gap of wood there. And then we just fold to the back. Now by doing little cuts, you don't have all your metal tape bunching up. It folds and to the back quite smoothly. Okay. Alrighty then, so that's very nice. And taking an old credit card, I am gently smoothing the sides so that the tape is nice and neat. And then we smooth the back and we smooth the front. Oh my word, I apologize for the background noise. I have no idea what it is, but it could be a garden service that are tidying up. Now this little square of tape I actually stuck on the edge of my table, and I'm going to use that. So carefully I'm folding it a little bit because I want to cover that tiny gap of the MDF board, which is inevitable. You can't prevent it from happening. So all I do is put in my little piece of tape and then cut that and move it to the back. And you can see I have a beautiful, neat little groove of my heart. Okie dokie. So our next step, for those of you who've never metal taped or just want to remember, is we're taking our paper pencil. Paper pencil is also known as a tortillon or a paper stump. And if you're not in South Africa, you can search it. You can search it under your artist's tools because it is used by graphite artists mainly to smudge their pencil. But yeah, tortillon or a paper pencil. And what I've done with mine is I've actually put a layer of metal tape around it, and I find it helps my pencil last for really long. So this one that I'm using, you can see is really flat, and must have been using it maybe a year. So also, not all paper pencils are the same. I did buy some which were absolutely awful. They just bent and broke. Our next step is to take a nail art tool or a dot art tool, and I like to use the very small nib, but if you're not sure or you're feeling a bit uncertain, start with the bigger nib. It's really important that your edges have been nicely smoothed and pushed down by your paper stump, because if not, when you do this, you will tear your tape. Okay, and we are just going to go and embellish all the little areas of the die cut. which is quite time consuming. I would love to hear if you could leave a comment from where in the world you're watching. As you know, I'm here in South Africa, the land of the hardy-dar. But where are you watching from? And, you know, it's interesting. I've had nearly 80,000 views of videos, and yet I have less than 1,500 subscribers. So please give me a follow if you like what I do. It would make my day. A follow or a comment. Okay, as you can see here, I scratched little lines, and that's just some added interest for where our ink will eventually stick. Okay. You should be able to see how nicely that has been techniqued compared to that area, which looks quite dull. And for the sake of this video, I am not going to technique this side because I'd like you to see the difference. A lot of people don't do the outlining and the circling of the areas that have been cut out on your die cut or on whatever's underneath your metal tape, and it definitely affects the quality of your picture or project if you don't do it. Okay, so I have outlined friend and I have techniqued this side, and this section here has not been techniqued. So we are going to use our fat black Sharpies, and please note no other permanent marker works. I've tried many different brands and the fat Sharpie is the best for me. I am going to use my lappy again, my piece of cloth, just so I don't get my fingers all inked up. Okay. So while we're waiting, just want to show you the other little tag that I prepped for you. We have to let the ink dry for about 2 minutes. Please hold on one moment. Sorry about that. I thought I was going to choke. Have another sip of water. And here I have my 30 micron metal tape. I've just torn off a little bit of it. And while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to cover the back. Now, this is perfect area to use all those scraps of metal tape that you have. You know those little pieces that you save that are really too small for any other project? I actually save them and I will use them on something like this. If I can find the end. Sometimes it's a real test of patience. And sometimes it's just better to start again. If I can get the edge. You'd think that I'd be a pro at this. Sometimes the frustration levels can be quite high finding the end of the metal tape. Okay. And I'm just gently tearing that, and there's another little gap, and I'm doing that there. So another trick when I'm working with strips, because I struggle so to find the edges, I actually work with my tape like this and I don't cut it. Okay, we have those little bits that are left over and I will just trim them off with my blade because I don't want them to fold over to the front. Done. Last trick here is to smooth the back. And I like to cover my back because I think it gives you a finished project. Unless, of course, you are going to glue this onto something, then obviously you don't need to finish your back. We are using a little sanding block. Excuse me. And I must admit, this is a very messy job. And you can see I'm using my sanding block in circles. It just gives it a better finish. And yeah, dirty hands. With my lappy again, I'm going to finish this off. Now, I'm sure you can see the difference between the area that I techniqued with my tool and the area that I didn't. This looks really flat and uninteresting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Take care and have a beautiful day.